Hey, what's up? It's LazyBrain here from LazyGaming.com, and today we'll be playing some Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now, it's my first commentary here on this game, and I've had it for about over a week now, both on console and on PC. So the console I'm playing it on is the XBOX360, of course. And that is the gameplay you're seeing right here. I thought I'll put up some console gameplay, since most of the gameplay on YouTube at the moment about this game are mainly PC. There's a few console gameplays out there, but obviously the reason for that is because the game is definitely, well, I guess more fun to play on PC, or at least easier to play on PC, in my opinion. If you're new to the game, it's probably easier to play it on console. It really depends what you're used to. So I just wanted to go ahead and make a quick commentary here, pretty much expressing my opinions about the game, what I think about it, and comparing it to the PC version. Since I have tried out both. Now, of course, I'll say right from the bat, the PC version is better, so if you can, definitely do play it on PC. That's not just because you hear all the PC fans saying, yeah, Counter-Strike is always better on PC, but it's just simply true. The game just runs better in my opinion, and a higher frame rate definitely, you know, makes a difference. So yeah, I mean, the few things first off on console that are difficult to get used to is the aiming. First of all, I mean, it's definitely much more difficult to aim. It takes some getting used to, and everything is a little slower in my opinion. Like on PC, you aim much faster, or at least you acquire the target in a way much faster. And but I guess everybody on console has the same disadvantage, so at the same time, you know, that kind of balances out, and it's not a huge deal. What is kind of, what in my opinion kind of sucks, is that you see much less people using sniper rifles on console, simply because they're more difficult to control. I mean, there's nothing different in the actual weapon, but to aim with sniper rifles, or even just any scoped rifle in the game, is just pretty difficult in my opinion, especially on console. So yeah, there's a big difference in the scope rifles on PC and on console. So by the way, just to clear out some things about the gameplay you're watching at the moment, this is some casual gameplay. So there's two game modes in this type of game mode. So there's the standard Counter-Strike game mode, which is just every round you have 1 life per round, and you just need to, like, you know, if you're counter-terrorist, you need to kill the terrorist, and if you're terrorist, you need to kill the counter-terrorist. But you can also plant the bomb to speed up that process. So that's pretty much the default Counter-Strike game type, but of course there's two versions of that, or a variant of that. One is casual, which has no player collision, no friendly fire, and is generally more easy. They tend to give you more money as well per kill, I think. I'm not sure about that, by the way. And competitive mode has friendly fire, has player collision, and stuff like that. So and there's more rounds in it as well. So that's pretty much it. But this is a casual gameplay that I just played in a random lobby here, and we start off, the game starts off with a bunch of bots in the enemy team, but eventually, I think at round 3 or something, most of the bots are gone, so it gets a bit more interesting. But I have also sped up some parts and cut out some parts, as you might have noticed, simply because I spent a lot of time spectating, especially the first 2 rounds where I died quite early into the round. But after that, I don't die at all, I think, anymore in the whole game, so that's pretty good. But as you can see, I am using a sniper rifle at the moment, and it does take some getting used to, but as you can see, it's kind of like, everything is kind of slow paced. The time it took me to, you know, aim on him and shoot and stuff like that, so that's definitely a big difference. Now, the other huge disadvantage on console is the lack of modifications. I mean, right now you don't see a huge difference because there's not that many mods and maps out on PC, but trust me, in a few months time, I think most of the console people will be jealous, or at least I might be, you know, mainly focusing on the PC version, because I'm pretty sure most of the maps, or at least they won't release any modifications on console. And you know, they might release some maps. I don't know. I don't know if Valve has to make them to release them. What I think would be a great idea is that they take a few of the maps created by the community, and the very good ones, obviously the one of the best maps, just a few, and they ask the creators or the owners of these maps to, you know, or maybe even pay them to be able to eventually release them on console. I think that would be a great idea if that would be possible. I'm not sure if that is actually possible, but that would be a great idea, simply because you know, there's not that many maps per game type, so it gets quite boring quickly playing the same maps over and over again. So yeah, modifications, I doubt they'll release any kind of mods for the consoles at the moment. So that's definitely a disadvantage, the lack of, you know, being able, or the openness, or how do we say, open source part of the game. So that's definitely another disadvantage on console. But there is one advantage, I think, on console though, believe it or not, is that it's good for noobs, people that are new to the game, since this is the first Counter-Strike ever that got released on console itself. It's easy for new people that are new to the whole Counter-Strike franchise to pick it up, in my opinion. Simply because, you know, most of the people are fairly new to the game on console, and just easier to play. You don't get dominated as quickly as on PC, especially if you play on PC with, you know, like hardcore Counter-Strike players that played 1.6 and Source a lot. You kind of get dominated quite quickly if you're new to the game. So I think that's pretty much the only advantage you have on console at the moment. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my opinions of the game. I mean, the game itself, obviously, I mean, it remains Counter-Strike, and a lot of things remain the same in my opinion, which I don't mind at all. And obviously, you know, it's not a full release price of the game. I think Valve sells it for about £10 at the moment, or something like that. It's fairly cheap to buy. Obviously, I mean, they have refreshed all the maps and stuff like that, and a few dynamics as well of the game. They've definitely changed quite a few things around. It's not just a reskin of the game, but of course it remains a Counter-Strike, and it's definitely a lot of fun to play. Even on console, I recommend getting it. It's just that it doesn't have as much of a life cycle, or as long of a life cycle on console as on PC. So definitely play it on PC if you have a good PC to play it on. Otherwise, you can just give it a try on console. It's definitely fun to play. So that's pretty much my opinions about the game. Here in this match, I mean, I think I'm pretty close to the end of this match here. Oh, another 2 minutes. I started using the sniper rifle after a while. I used also the P90 in the beginning of the game. It's pretty much my two favorite weapons at the moment. I mean, the P90, some people complain it's a little overpowered at the moment, but which I might agree with. I mean, it's one of the only SMGs that can really compete with the standard rifles, the AK-47 and the M4s and stuff like that. So I think it's a great SMG. There's a lot of bullets in the magazine, obviously, which is a great advantage as well. And another thing they've added to the game that I quickly want to talk about as well before ending this commentary here is the Molotov grenades, or cocktails, or incendiary grenade, or I'm not even sure how to pronounce that, but anyway, the fire grenade. I mean, they're definitely overpowered. A lot of people complain about them, that they are, simply because if you have multiple people that actually purchased a Molotov cocktail in the beginning of the game, you can actually block quite a few passages or ways in the map for the enemy team, and then eventually they pretty much don't have much choice of where to go, and then you kind of know where they're coming from. So that's definitely a huge advantage if you're able to block certain ways for a few seconds. And as well, they kind of act like smoke grenades. I mean, they're not as good as smoke grenades and don't last as long as smoke grenades, of course, but they do have, for a short amount of time, a decent amount of smoke that comes out of it, or black smoke, that really, you know, reduces your view, or the amount of things you can see, pretty much. So I'm not sure if they will patch it. They might patch it on PC. I think it's quite difficult for them to release a lot of patches on console, simply because it has to go through Microsoft, and it's a longer process, and I think they even might have to pay for it. So I'm pretty sure the game will eventually be much better on PC than on console, but right now that it recently got released, it's a lot of fun on both platforms. So I highly recommend, if you're on PS3, Xbox 360 or PC, to get it on your favorite platform. And that's it for my commentary. Hopefully you guys liked my commentary. Be sure to leave a like if you do enjoy it, and be sure to leave your opinions in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.